Hey, there's some moves being made in the NFL,
I was going to say,
boy.
as much as you love baseball and I love baseball, people's hearts never stop leaning towards the NFL. The NFL is king. Even off-season moves trump anything else. And Danny G woke up this morning to a message from you about Stefon Diggs.
Yeah. CJ Stroud's got to be the happiest dude in the NFL today.
I saw between him, they got Mixon now.
Yep.
Nico Collins, obviously already a weapon there. CJ Stroud, and I love their coach. That team, Houston, just like that. Where didn't you think for a minute Jacksonville had that division on lock for a minute? Doesn't seem that way anymore. Doesn't seem that way at all. But I wanted to talk about the concept of a win-win. Because everyone loves to ask the question, who won the breakup? Who won the trade?
No,
think about it. In a divorce or a breakup?
Divorces, in partnerships, in sports talk radio, Mike or the Mad Dog, who won the breakup?
Oh,
right?
Francesco was on the Fan, but Mad Dog got his own channel on Sirius XM.
People always like to do that. It's a game we all play.
When you break up with a business partner, a relationship, or a guy gets traded, everyone loves the, who won the trade? Who won free agency?
Who's it best
Who
for?
won the breakup?
Who benefits? Maybe there's not always a winner.
He's living in a van down by the river, and his ex-wife has his house. She won. There's always a winner. But is there? Because if Stefon Diggs wasn't jiving with what's going on in Buffalo, but his talent could be clearly utilized by C.J. Stroud and what they got going on in Houston, but maybe by taking Stefon Diggs out of that equation, maybe his vibes weren't really adding much to what's going on in Buffalo's locker room.
Well, the trade comes the day after Diggs responded, "You sure?" to a social media user's declaration that he wasn't essential to Bills quarterback Josh Allen's success.
And that's a lot of noise, dude.
Stefon Diggs led the NFL. Hey, noise, but he still had the numbers to back it up. Most receptions the last 4 seasons. Stefon Diggs led the NFL in receptions during his 4 seasons with the Bills. 445, put him up top. Devontae Adams, 441. Tyreek Hill, 436. But
now you make an argument, though, that I'm sure any day now Dan Byer's going to give us an update that Buffalo somehow did a little trade or acquired some wide receiver. That now the time is, all right, who's our new target? Whether it's through the draft or a trade. Diggs is gone. Maybe a fit with someone that may not even have the pedigree of a Stefon Diggs might be a better fit for Josh Allen, because how many times did you have to hear one of them or the other one justify, like, no, things are good, and then a week later, like, Stefon Diggs would be on Twitter saying something?
Yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying.
Because everyone loves to say,
maybe they just weren't gelling together.
They lost Stefon Diggs. Yeah, a big hit to the Buffalo Bills as far as production and a talent and a Pro Bowler. But if it's not the right guy, is it really a loss?
No. Just wasn't a good fit, maybe.
Like, not to always bring it back to relationships, but you could have a girl that's a 12. Oh, man, that girl you were dating, she's gorgeous. Yeah,
she's a 12 for someone else.
Yeah, she's not a 12 for me. Maybe
for you, she's a pain in the ass.
But she was boring or a pain in the ass. Yeah, she's got a nice booty, but man, it'd still be someone else's nice booty.
No, it makes sense.
I think everyone wants to decide.
Sometimes you got to get rid of that star player to make room for players that are just better for your team.
Or what's next, right? Like Mike, who runs this place.
Who?
Mike. Big Mike.
Man, he was
Never heard of him.
He was so helpful in prepping today's show, Covino, because he gave me 2 nuggets. He was all fired up about that baseball list we went over.
You guys had nuggets?
Yeah. And he said, sort of like Shaq and Kobe. Said they won 3 in a row together. And then it came a point where there was butting of the heads, and Shaq was rapping about Kobe, and Kobe didn't seem happy.
Well, Kobe never appreciated his work ethic. That was really it. And you could see how that would get under the skin of a very disciplined, hardworking Kobe Bryant. He always said, and we discussed this off the air, discussing something completely different earlier today. What drove Kobe nuts is that Shaq had all the potential in the world. If he only had the work ethic, he would have won 10 championships.
Yeah, isn't that an old school Kobe quote that like Shaq would have been the greatest of all time?
Kobe never turned it off, worked out 24/7, prepared like it was in season, even when it was off season. And Shaq's whole thing was, I'm going to do this on company time. I'll even get surgeries on company time.
Yeah. They had different mindsets.
And you know what? You could argue, separate them. That's crazy. But when they went their separate ways, they both went on to win more NBA titles just without each other.
So you
could say win-win. Kobe won 2 more, went to 3 more, and Shaq won 1 in Miami. Like they went on to do their own thing.
Kobe!
So I just look at this and say, anyone that wants to try to force themselves to be like, well, who won this?
It's great when both teams benefit, and that's why they agree to these moves. That's the hope is. That's what the goal is.
Well, you always have to think of that too. When there's a trade that goes down, no team is saying, haha, we're the morons.
Right.
Everyone thinks that they are getting as much as they can or something.
There is the money that is in dead cap space, though, that tells you that this isn't a, hey, win-win sort of deal. That they felt the necessity to make this move. Just like the Broncos felt it was necessary to take on $85 million in dead cap space to get rid of Russell Wilson. And that's the thing here of this. It's gotten so bad between Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs that the Bills are willing to take on $31 million, which is, I think you guys said, top 5, top 6 of all time. It's the most ever for a wide receiver.
Even his response to that social media quote was sort of, I don't know.
Rub you a little weird?
Yeah, it did. It shows you that there's conflict there. Like, you sure? Because wouldn't the normal response be, no, actually, we both feed off each other's success? Or, no, man, I couldn't do it without him. He couldn't do it without me. We need each other. Something like that.
They've had opportunities to say nice things about each other.
And he didn't.
And they always seem to balk at that.
Right.
And you know what? What happens after every divorce or breakup? What's the most BS word in the history of breakups?
Amicable.
Everyone loves to say that. You could hate your ex-wife's guts. She could be trying to take you for every penny you've ever made. But if you're a public figure, what do you say?
Oh, yeah.
Amicable breakup. We went we grew apart.
Mutual decision.
Yeah, mutual decision, amicable. We
irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
You know what that means? We hate each other.
Can I tell you when I was
these differences cannot be reconciled.
I know.
Let me tell you. I would say when I was house hunting, when my wife and I were figuring out where we're going to live next, we looked at a house we really liked, and one of the things that was odd to us that I would say was a little bit of a turnoff. It was a divorced couple selling the house, but they were both there for the showing.
Oh,
and the tension like. What this guy must have done something bad. The tension was like, we need to get rid of this house now because he's a piece of like it was.
Sounds like the Money Pit,
dude. It was
by
like
the end of this movie, they're like about to get split up.
She might as well have been like, and this is the guest room where he slept with the babysitter. like I mean, it's a nice room. And this is the pool where he probably had his whores. Like, wow. It was like such an uncomfortable vibe. So when people break up,
did they come with the house?
That sounds like an SNL sketch, honestly.
Honestly, it felt like it. So every time there's a breakup, a trade, an acquisition, sports, life, workplace, everyone likes to think that there needs to be a winner or loser, but sometimes it just works for everyone, right?
And
what's that Major League Baseball story where 2 players swapped wives?
Oh, yeah. I forget.
Remember that legendary? Yeah. It's not a fable spot.
No, it's a true story. I just can never remember who the heck it is.
They got divorced and they ended up with each other's wife.
But still, I'd say the biggest winner of this could be all of them. Could be all of them at the end of the day because they don't seem to get along. Josh Allen, Stefon Diggs.
If Diggs
could play well for the Texans, C.J. Stroud and the Texans are the big winners here right now at the moment.
Yankees, Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich had in 1973.
Yeah, I'm a Yankees fan. I can't remember those guys, but I always hear about that story.
They even exchanged pets.
Yeah.
There was a mistress to be named later in that deal as well. They didn't put that in the details.
Let me tell you, is it weird? Is it weird that I find it more strange that they swap pets than wives?
Yeah.
Like swapping wives, that could just be like a kinky thing. Swapping pets? Who swaps pets?
I guess the pets went with the wives.
Yeah. I'm gonna take your dog. You're gonna take my my goldfish.
With the wives.
Like that's weirder than wife swapping. Pet swapping.
So Stefon Diggs to the Texans.
All right.
Win-win. You make the call.